Welcome back to Myth Mental Health. I am Justin Alexander Williams, the author of Reborn Virtues Constellation, which you can get on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles. And today we're going to talk about a very interesting character in Greek mythology, Athena, or Minerva in the Roman canon. So why are we talking about Athena and kind of dealing with our moods and our productivity and how to be better mentally? Well, let's start with the story of Athena, right? She's born out of Zeus's mind, out of Zeus's head, after he consumes her mother Metis, who represented thought. So Athena is always kind of worshipped as a goddess that's highly logical, thinks before acting. Compare her to Ares. They're both in the war sector of worship, but Ares is seen as this hot-blooded character and Athena is seen as more of a reserved character. You can think of her as like the strategy of battle rather than the kind of actual act of war and battle in the heat of the moment. Athena, like Artemis, is a virgin goddess, takes no lovers. But the really thing I want to focus on quickly with Athena and how she's an inspiring character is that Athena is, in many stories, seen as not the judge or the jury, but the complainant, the lawyer in many situations. In the story of Orestes, she argues her case against Apollo. In just trying to be a virgin, she argues her case to be virgin to Zeus. In many stories, she adjudicates. If you look at like how she's involved in the Iliad, she is a character that is very counter to the Greek ideal of the female. The Greek ideal of the female was one of maybe more like Aphrodite, something sought after, something to be captured, something to be rendered in the house, domesticated. But Athena is this brazen character who advises men primarily because she's the advisor or kind of proclaimer, like the muses of heroes. So you get this odd tension with Athena, right? And in our lives, we may have these kind of tensions when we are thinking about, as men, our relationship to women. As fathers, as brothers, as cousins. I know with my sisters are very much like Athena types. And I've always wondered, really, how does that work in a society, in many societies, where those types of women are often rendered kind of moot by kind of nomenclatures like girl boss, right? People would think Athena would be the girl boss now, the top CEO kind of female, and how we kind of strip them down of some of the more stereotypical feminine qualities that we laud women for having too, being nurturing, being motherly, being sisterly and whatnot. And I think that the Athena model really is about looking at her shield, looking at her armor, but also looking at the vulnerabilities of someone that would wear something like that. And that's a powerful, powerful thing. Women in society are more allowed to be vulnerable. And I think by being complements to men, men need to learn from women how to in turn balance their own vulnerabilities. People often say, well, you know, women are not attracted to a man that is vulnerable and willing to show his sensitive side. But I think that is only in the sense that when they go to extremes, when men are extremely sad all the time. But that's an unattractive quality for anybody. I mean, think about situations that you may have been in when you've just been in the doldrums of sadness for weeks and weeks and weeks. How many friends call you? How many friends hit you up to hang out? How many people visit you, right? And that's not your fault at all. We all have times where we just shut down, and we should be respected for that. And we should be brought back into the light, maybe the light of her brother Apollo, right? In a way where we can be constructive again and be happy again. But what we don't want to do is completely forget the lessons that the archetype of Athena teaches, which is that it is wise to carry your armor, but it is also wise not to hide the fact that you need to wear armor, right? We are all going out in our work, in our space, in our battles every day, whether it's at the job or whether it's at home or wherever it is, or if you're an actual warrior and you're a soldier. And a lot of people try to be more snake-like, which is also representative of Athena with the Medusa myth, and say, no, I'm not wearing any armor, I'm not protecting myself, I'm not guarding myself from anything. But then you get to know them and you find that they're a very guarded person. And that can sometimes ruin the relationship. I think it's okay to make people know that, hey, I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of trauma. I've been through a lot of things. Here are the things I've been through, to lay them out. And, once you get comfortable with someone, and if you still want to pursue a relationship or friendship, please do. And maybe one day I won't need that armor. But armor is significant in that it details to the person around you that, hey, not only am I a person that can possibly inflict my will, I'm a person that has had will inflicted upon me. You can think about the story of Athena going to Hephaestus for armor, for his help, for his protection. And he does quite an ugly action and pursues her, chases her. In so doing, Athena actually bears a child, not directly in her body, but takes on the motherly role of a child that comes from the situation. And she shows a side of herself, like I'm talking about, that I think men can surprise in ways too. That just like the Greeks would be surprised to hear that a former king of Athens was a child of Athena, that we as men, we can surprise too with the fact that our armor does not dictate that we don't have feelings, that we don't want to connect, that we don't have sensitivities. Our armor is simply saying, to be a man in this world, as like to be a woman, it rains on the just and the unjust alike. We all have tribulations that we go through. So I think men and women can learn from the motif of Athena, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Like, share, and subscribe, and please comment too if you have any reactions to this video. And remember, I'm an author of a book, Reborn, Virtue's Constellation, and if you enjoyed this video, I think you'll enjoy that book. Thank you.